Before we get started tonight, we've got one of our very own who's going to be leading us in prayer. Brad, would you please step up to the dais as we go to the Lord in prayer? Thank you.
If we can, let's pray. Our most kind and gracious Heavenly Father, we come to you this evening, Father. We want to thank you and praise you for your blessings that you've given to all of us. We thank you, Lord, for the cool weather, Lord, you blessed us with. Father, watching out for us each and every day. Father, as we come to you tonight, Father, in behalf of the city, Father, we pray that your will be done. And Father, everything that we do, we conduct our business in a manner that's pleasing to you. Everything that's said, everything's done, Father, to honor you tonight. Father, Lord, let us be good stewards of this city. And Father, what we do, once again, to honor you. Be with us this week, Father, as we have the great festival. Be with people that they'll be safe. And Father, Lord, we'll have a good time. And Father, once again, have your hand upon this city, Father, as we continue to grow. And Father, forgive us where we have failed you. Father, we'll be careful to give you all the praise, the honor, and the glory. For it's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
I'd like to call August 4th, 2025 Committee of the Whole meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Tim?
Here.
Amber? Here. Mike?
Here.
Misty? Here. Daniel?
Here.
Larry?
Here. Please rise for the pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now I seek approval of the agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Roll call.
Larry?
Yes.
Daniel?
Yes.
Misty? Yes. Tim?
Yes.
Amber? Yes. Mike?
Yes. Now I seek the approval of our July 1st Committee of the Whole minutes.
I'll make that motion.
Looking for a second?
I'll second that.
Roll call.
Amber?
Yes.
Daniel?
Yes.
Tim?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Larry?
Yes.
Misty?
Yes.
Next, I have comments from citizens. Please try to keep your comments to 3 minutes or less. If you have anything that you want to talk about that's not on the agenda, please come forward.
Tim Shepard. I live at 16192 Sycamore Lane, Fayetteville. I'm on the Republican ticket for Washington County Judge, and I just wanted to introduce myself. I'm a 20-year veteran of the Fayetteville Police Department. I'm a captain over internal affairs, litigation response, policy and accreditation. I've served in a variety of roles. I was also a volunteer fireman at Wheeler Fire Department, so mutual aid. I got to assist with Tontitown, and I'm not here to do a stump speech, but I just wanted to make myself available. I'll be here throughout and after the meeting. I'd love to share my contact information. Thank you. Thank you. Washington County Judge.
He's a little bit taller than I am. Tammy Graham, 1984 South Penalto Road. This regards the HR investigation into the legitimacy of the firing of Luann Jennison. Apparently our mayor was highly vexed at your decision to reinstate Ms. Jennison to the and elected to hire an outside HR firm at taxpayers' expense to prove to all that she was right and you, after hours of deliberation, were wrong. Healthy HR submitted an invoice for $5,250 on 6/30/25. The invoice was stamp paid on 7/2. Payment was approved by mayor. The investigation was performed by Steve Percival, who was VP at Washington Regional HR for many years. I actually knew him when I worked there, and he is extremely competent with HR matters. I am certain if the findings did support the mayor, we would have all seen the report from Healthy HR, and she would have taken a victory lap around City Hall. No one save Mayor, Ms. Jennison, and a select few have been privy to the results. We are now told that it is not eligible to be FOIA'd. However, I'm not certain that's correct. I read the following from ACA 25-19-105. If any one of the following are not met, the record remains exempt from disclosure. Employee, number one, employee was suspended or terminated. She was terminated, but she was reinstated. Number two, there has been a final administrative resolution of the suspension or termination. Presumably, because the bill was paid, there is an administrative resolution out there somewhere. The records in question form, this is number three, form a basis for the termination. This is what puzzles me. You don't have the answer to that because you don't know what's in the record. And for as long as you don't know what's in the record and the information is withheld from you, they can claim it is then exempt from disclosure. We have a piece of information that you need to determine that it's FOIA'd or not, but we're not going to let you see it. Perhaps the mayor feels the citizens do not have a right to know what our money is buying, but I beg to differ. I ask you to please consider calling an executive session so that at least you might be apprised of the findings. I'm not sure what's to be gained by keeping it quiet. So that's all I have. Thank you for your time.
Anyone? Oh, good. Mr. Calcagney.
Good afternoon. Thank you for allowing me to speak. Mark Calcagney at 12642 Arbor Acres. I've lived there for 37 years, and part of my property is in Tontitown. What I want to do today is I want to thank the Tontitown Police and Fire Department as the citizens feel good about both departments as they live up to their responsibility to protect the citizens with respect to health and safety. Thank you. And I'm hoping this group here on this desk here it realizes you have a responsibility to protect the citizens with regard to health and safety. I know I'm going to be a broken record about the serious situation with the landfill. You all are aware of the 3 air test results, 2 by the Arkansas National Guard and 1 by the ADQ that tried to disprove the National Guard's test that showed dangerous chemicals in the air. ADQ's test results were even worse than the high levels that was shown at the Arkansas National Guard because there was benzene and acrolein. Both are carcinogens, cancer. Kenneth Loveth and I attended the pollution control and ecology meeting on July 25th in Little Rock. We met with ADQ management after the meeting was over with ADQ. Mr. Lovett collected questions from 9 Tontitown citizens for ADQ to address. One question was about the leachate odors at South Penalto and Barrington Tontitown lift stations. ADQ stated firmly that once the leachate leaves the landfill, that Tontitown is responsible for the odor and no telling what dangers are in the air. ADQ says some cities truck the leachate to places like NACA. Has that been an option for Tontitown to not utilize these lift stations? Poor Nina Brown, who's here tonight, she's the #1 citizen here in Tontitown. She has gotten sick, she's gone to the hospital, and she's been run out of her house several times to live with her daughter in Bentonville, which is a shame. Those waste management money that the city received go towards waste management issues. Does the money go towards road deterioration of Clink, Dow, and Arbor Acres? I'm sure that's pretty expensive with that heavy truck traffic to do. Lift station, does it go to lift station, air test, police and fire issues that come into play at the landfill? And then the administrative issues, costs that the issues present. Does the city know whether the city is in the red or black with the revenue versus the cost of the landfill? Do you know this? The city put this nasty business in the city. It may not have been this administration, but you have a responsibility knowing the air is unsafe to protect the health and safety of your citizens. It should start with this group in the seats up here. Do you care, and can we trust you'll handle this issue and do the right thing? Or maybe the opening prayer is just for show. But I want to say this, Brad, you did a wonderful job. Thank you. Thank you all.
Good afternoon. Is it working? Yep. Kenneth Lovett, 18702 Clearwater Road. Everybody knows what this is. This is what God gave us to live by. this is the laws on the landfill. Does that make sense? That was taken in August 17th, 2022. It's got all kinds of great information in there that 90% of it they don't do. Mark was talking about going and being able to sit down and talk with 4 people from the ADEQ. Michael McAllister's the lawyer, Bailey Taylor is the director, Michael somebody, McAllister is the lawyer. Ryan Hayden was there. He's the one that's taking care of a lot of the incidents. He's the supervisor for the people that's checking the incidents. And Dimitri Kimbrough is the current air quality person, director. And she is probably the 3rd one in the past 4 years. They go through them like sandwiches. So anyway, I did get some questions, and I'm going to cover a couple of them that they would answer you, but they would be very not direct. I can't think of my word, but anyway. So why did the testing not take place at the Eco Vista site itself, right at the stacks, to see without question what and how much is coming out of them? Said the study was designed to address complaints. Funding is only to investigate. Only identified data should be identified when it comes from. And it's going to be 30 days from the time that they get the findings before they release it. They have not found the findings yet. They have not released them. So it's going to be 90 days from whenever they do release them. Another thing I'm thinking about is, I believe Mark brought this up too, if I can find it. Well, I'm wasting my time, but anyway, the leachate, like he brought up, we have that lift station down there that Waste Management paid for and turned it over to Tontitown for maintenance and everything. According to them, that's Tontitown's problem, or NACA. So I'll step away, but we need to do something about stopping that leachate from flowing through the middle of Tontitown. Thank y'all.
Mick Wagner, 409 Pennsill Avenue. You know, a few people had a contract for mowing, and let's say it was going to mow once a week, and the guy quit coming and he went every other week. Would you continue to pay him, or would you ask for some money back? I raise that point simply because your legal contract that was signed in January by the mayor has fees that total $87,600, broken out as $4,500 for the regular council meetings, $1,000 for the planning meeting, $1,800 for court costs, and some miscellaneous costs at $250 an hour. $87,600 is flat fees. The contract was signed exceeds the $20,000 spending limit that the mayor has. And it appears that pursuant to 1458-305 and code of the city 32.02, both spell out the $20,000 spending limit. But the real question is, anything over the $20,000 should require city council's approval. Now, there's been a precedence that the contract is an annual contract to provide legal services. In 2018, those legal services for the same attorney totaled $48,000. In 2015, it was spelled out as just $250 per meeting. 2014, you had another attorney that was charging $175 an hour. My only point is, inflation's been pretty high, but I don't think it's been that high. And my question to you, back to the lawnmower, if you're good with getting half services, because Mr. Eichmann has appeared, if you'll look at the records, less than 50% of the time for the 2 regular meetings, that the $4,500 a month was specifically spelled out in the contract. So if you've got that much money to waste, maybe I need to do a contract with you. Thank you.
Anyone else? No more? Going once, going twice. Moving on to old business. A discussion on expanding the planning commission to 7 members. Mike.
Okay, I'll just provide the Cliff Notes version of what I emphasized at the last meeting. The reason for expansion, I just bullet pointed them. It allows more community involvement, gives an opportunity for more diverse perspectives, more deliberation. You can disperse commission tasks amongst more members, and it allows for attendance flexibility. As I mentioned also, all of these surrounding towns of like size, some are bigger, Siloam, Farmington, Prairie Grove, Pea Ridge, Centerton, Gentry, and the county quorum court have a minimum of 7 commissioners. There is one caveat to all of this, and I did bring it up. Act 314 passed this past legislative session by the Arkansas State Legislature. It will affect our planning commission. We have one member who is outside the city limits. Act 314 basically strips any planning for the city for what were considered planning zones. So anything that's outside the city limits, the city of Tontitown now cannot touch whatsoever. So I emailed Mr. Eichmann about, I think we all know the commissioner who this affects, but I said, Justin, could you please weigh in on how the newly enacted Arkansas Act 314 affects the seat on the commission? Is he able to hold the seat through the end of his term? Once the term expires, is he ineligible, or anyone outside of the city limits for that matter, ineligible to hold a seat on the commission? His answer, Mike, the prevailing opinion is that a planning commissioner who lives in the extraterritorial jurisdiction can continue to hold the seat until his or her appointment term is up. This is because when the planning commissioner was appointed, he or she lived in the extraterritorial jurisdiction area. Arkansas Code annotated 1456-405B allows for up to 1/3 of the planning commission members to be appointed from the extraterritorial jurisdiction area. The extraterritorial jurisdiction area has been eliminated by Act 314, but he did live in the extraterritorial jurisdiction area when he was appointed. But once the term of appointment expires, the person appointed to the position must live inside the city. The Municipal League is in agreement with this opinion, and from what I've heard, this is the opinion that city attorneys across the state are providing to their cities. So, and I'd also have 2 alternatives for how to address adding the 2 commission members. One is I have as the effective date in the ordinance, and it has to be done by ordinance and not resolution. The effective date is September 1st. Obviously, our first meeting in September is September 2nd. We could take letters of intent starting tomorrow, publish them on the website, take the letters of intent, and vote on at the next city council, or we take letters of intent from this point forward till the next CAL meeting on September 2nd, and then hold the election September 2nd. But I think it's important that we go ahead and expand. We all know that we're growing. We're going to continue to grow. We've seen a number of people come up here in the past who are interested in serving on the commission. We know we're going to add 2 now, and when the other term expires, we're going to have to add another one. I get it. You know, being a neophyte in the position, we all have a learning curve that we have to go through. I did, and every council member up here had to go through it too. But, you learn best by doing. And so I think it's important that we send this ordinance to City Council for a vote.
Citizen comment. Council? No comment?
Nobody?
Nobody?
I'll say something then.
Go ahead.
All right. No secret, I'm not crazy about expanding the planning commission. I'm not going to try to sink it by any stretch, but there were a couple things you said. One of them was people attending so that we can maintain a quorum. If we do go to 7, we would need 5 for a quorum, not the current, what is it, 4? As far as the extra jurisdictional area, if Mr. Crane can play that out until his commission is up. I believe that's 18 months from now-ish.
I'm not sure when it's
Yeah, he was reconfirmed earlier this year. Then, we've got 18 months on that one. Obviously, we want to play by the rules and follow the, not just the spirit, but the letter of the law as much as we can. But I get it. I do understand as far as having other planning commissioners that can take on other roles or duties or what have you. I haven't noticed a need for that yet. Personally, I don't like it, but I do very much understand why others do.
I think I can speak to one instance
Yeah,
of that where they were rewriting certain sections of the code, and I think it was a rather large section of the code that they were working on. It may have been easier to spread out. Maybe Mr. Dean can speak to that since he is on the commission, but,
I will cede that point.
okay.
Thank you.
So,
Mr. Spurlock has something to add.
If I may, point of information. Please. Josh Crane has been elected secretary. He was elected secretary. His commission expires February 28, 2026, next year.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. That's closer than I thought. Thank you, Mr. Spurlock. Appreciate it.
I kind of go back to my original thoughts when we brought this up earlier. I think I'm okay with filling the 6th spot that is vacant at the time. But going 7, I think is a little excessive, but.
Do we view that as a 6th vacant seat? Because remember, we had 5, we only added the 6th because of a mistake that had happened administratively.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
But you'd be okay with going to 6?
Being that we had one there already, but I mean, if it's to fix an error, it's not like it's necessary. I like the 5 right now, myself.
I tend to agree with liking the 5 as well.
Okay.
Don't quite see the need just yet for 7.
I'm in agreement on the 5.
You can make a motion to do the 7. I'd make a motion to do the 7 if y'all want. But I think that we've got no's here. But if you want to push it to where it goes to a vote, I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Roll call.
Misty,
Yes. You're
Well-
going yes for 7.
to move it to the
Oh,
council.
is that what we're doing?
We've already got a first and a second. We've got a motion and a second.
Oh, okay.
Council. Yeah.
Yeah, so move it.
Yes, but
to
you're
the council.
voting to move for 7.
Correct.
Okay,
To vote on it, yes.
okay. Mike,
Yes.
Daniel,
No.
Amber,
No.
Tim,
No.
Larry.
No.
Motion is denied.
It's already done. Moving on, we have a discussion on changing the city's email retention policy. Mike, again.
Okay, there's one change that I want to make to this. I want to change section 11 to add the wording, City Ordinance 2015-10-551 is hereby repealed in its entirety. And then section 12 will be the emergency clause.
I'm sorry, Mike, could you walk us through that again? Where is that? Is that here?
Yeah, it's in,
Can you show me where it is? And which one's being stricken?
nothing being stricken. I'm going to change, that's going to be section 12. Section 11 will read, City Ordinance 2015-10-551 is hereby repealed in its entirety. And section 12 will be the emergency clause. Okay, I've mentioned in the past that really there's not a whole lot of guidance or examples on what a city should do as far as email retention comes from, or as far as email retention or records retention of any kind of that sort. The guidance for retention comes from Arkansas Code 14.2.203, which requires permanent retention of ordinances, city council minutes, resolutions, annual financial audits, and year-end financial statements. Our city email, when we open up a message, it reads, quote, retention, retention policy 7 years expires, close quote, and it gives the date of that expansion or expiration. I'm asking for 5 years in the ordinance. And we can amend that to 7 if you want to comport with the statement or email, but I'm asking for 5. Why do we need email retention? Most importantly, most of our emails are a public record. A retention policy helps us to ensure legal compliance with FOIA and allows for accountability and transparency. And coming up with this ordinance, I relied on the electronic record management guidelines for Arkansas state government, the Arkansas Freedom of Information Handbook. I used some artificial intelligence and the help of Mr. Eichmann to draft the ordinance. So,
do you have any of that data that you used?
Not with me.
Do you even have the code here? Section, I think you said 1 would be repealed, 10.5.51 would be repealed in its entirety?
No, I can pull that up.
Okay,
While he's pulling it up, comment from citizens.
thank you, Mike.
Seeing that. Okay, now council.
This might be a really silly question, but in this day and age, why not retain it for as long as possible? I mean, we're talking about cloud space, not file space anymore, right?
You can put 10 years on it, as far as I'm concerned. I don't care how long we
Absolutely.
add. Sorry, I didn't bring the old ordinance with
Well,
me.
that's okay. You know what, I'm fine even making a motion to move it forward. I don't mind that at all, but I would like to see it before we actually vote on it in council. That's my only 2 cents
Can you
worth.
pull that up and print it off?
Yeah.
Probably faster than me
What
doing it.
ordinance number is it?
2015-10-551. The reason the main reason is there was language in there that gave the reader of the email the discretion at what was important or not important, and that's not exactly how it's worded, but that's kind of how it's worded in the old ordinance. Obviously, that's kind of problematic for obvious reasons, I would think.
Mr. Eichmann's not here. I'm sure he could answer our questions about that.
Which one?
Well, any of them, from a legal standpoint. But yeah, I would imagine that there's something that's a little less nebulous than what I think should be kept, right? That's the idea? That I'm not the one who gets to decide if it's important
Exactly.
enough
Sorry.
to retain or not
Exactly.
retain.
Yes.
Mike, could you repeat that one more time? 2015?
Dash
10,
10, 551.
yeah, sorry. Okay.
No problem.
Again, I would rather go longer than shorter. And so, I mean, if you like 7, I'm totally amenable to that. 10's good. There was I don't know, I don't know that any of us have quote unquote term limits, right? I mean, there are people that have served here for over 40 years. So if we've got these things and we've got people that are on council or that are in the mayorship for years and years and years, or in any position, I think it would make sense that we would have access to those records for as long as possible, especially considering we don't have to fill up warehouses anymore.
You want to amend it to 7? I'm good with that. Or 10.
You want to go with the 7 or forever?
Well, cloud space isn't free, but I am willing to make a motion to send it to council, but I do think I'd like that number to be higher, and I'm open to suggestions on that before we move that along.
7?
I don't have a problem with 7, I think.
7? Okay, then I will make a motion to send it to council with the amendment to make that 7 years retention on all areas.
Second.
Roll call.
Mike,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Larry,
Yes.
Amber,
Yes.
Daniel,
Yes.
Misty.
Yes.
Moving to city.
All right. For new business, we have a discussion on the carpet replacement for the city hall. Megan.
Gracious, that was loud, I'm sorry. Council, so as you know, Tontitown City Hall experienced significant water damage from the hailstorm in late May. A part of the renovation is replacing the carpets on the city side of City Hall, including offices and the chamber room. I've obtained cost estimates from 3 carpet companies, which you've received in front of you. All 3 businesses recommended industrial grade, long-lasting carpet tiles, which is similar to what we have now, versus the broadloom, which is the roll of carpet. We discussed the pros and cons of both, and they consistently advised carpet tiles due to their ease of installation, maintenance, and replacement, making them ideal for high-traffic areas. After reviewing samples and discussing our options, Mayor Russell and I recommend Miller Commercial Flooring. We believe they are the best choice because they offer competitive pricing, a flexible schedule, and an aesthetically pleasing product. I've attached a photo of their proposed carpet for your reference, and larger samples are also available to view on the floor here in front of you. Unfortunately, I do not have the samples from the other carpet companies at this time. While we prefer to support local businesses, M&M Tile does not offer weekend or after-hour works, which would require us to stage offices during City Hall's operational hours. Additionally, Carpet Plus provided 3 estimates, and they do offer the weekend installation, but our preferred sample was discontinued. The current cost of Miller Commercial Flooring for the carpet tile replacement is $21,093. This price does not include the weekend labor, which would bring the total, whenever you're looking at the Miller flooring, below bid total under alternates. There's weekend labor rate, so you need to add the $2,200 into there, which would bring the total to $23,293, which is still the lowest estimation offered. I believe it is best to include the weekend labor cost, as this would significantly expedite the renovation process and minimize disruption to our regular business operations. The replacement cost value claim total for the offices and chambers, so what insurance is going to reimburse us for this, is $18,325.11, which includes the cost to remove the carpet, glue down the carpet, and replace the base molding. If the decision is made to not include weekend labor, the total cost after the reimbursement would be $2,767.89. With the weekend labor rate, the total cost after reimbursement would be $4,967.89. Since the reimbursement will be received after the renovations are completed and the total cost exceeds Mayor Russell's allocated budget, I'm requesting an approval for a check to proceed with this project.
Citizen comment. Council.
Are they thinking they'll get it done? How long do they think the project will take?
About 2 weeks.
About 2 weeks after hours?
Correct,
So is that
yes.
nights and weekends or just weekends?
Weekends and after hours, business
Okay,
hours.
so it'll be both, okay.
How many square feet are we looking at, Megan?
It depends on the room. So if you're looking at the estimation cost on here, I believe it's only one on M&M Tile. When you look at their contract, 437 square yards.
37 square yards. Okay.
What's the warranty information?
I did not receive that information yet from anybody, so I'll have to get back with you on the warranty.
Okay.
Well, I appreciate so much the time you put into this. It's a lot of work, and I very much appreciate it. I'm pretty certain I'm the only one on council whose family has had to deal with toxic mold issues, and we've had major issues. Some of you may not know this, but I have a child who literally lost use of his limbs, his legs, and his arms due to mold toxicity. Another that ended up in ICU had to be transferred to Little Rock for 3 days because of mold toxicity exposure. So major issues. Doesn't affect everybody the same way. Mold does affect everybody, just not everybody notices it. And about 25% of the US population, at least, has some significant impact or reaction. Unfortunately, many in my family are part of that. Even when they come to these meetings, in fact, my children used to sit right over here at just about every meeting, and they don't anymore because they're so impacted by the mold that's in this building, the toxic mold that's in the building, which is unfortunate. I understand why we were looking to replace carpet. However, carpet is a sponge, effectively, that keeps every mold spore that's ever been in this building. It comes here, it collects. Even if we replace it with carpet, even if we can pull out a bad carpet, those spores are alive, or they're spit out from the mold. The spores create basically more spores, and they go and they plant themselves just like dandelion seeds might, and they can go all over the building. And it doesn't take much. So if somebody came into a meeting and they spilled their water, in less than 24 hours, mold can start growing and we won't notice it right away. But even if we found that and removed those carpets, it could still be really detrimental to people who work here and others. I'm not asking you to do anything special for my family so they can show up here every couple of weeks. But I do know that there are other options that are less expensive than this and would have a better outcome for the city if we lose our roof to a tornado or we have another flood. And one of those is laminate flooring, and there is some laminate flooring that you can get that looks like wood. It doesn't look like it did when I was a kid back in the 80s, which was cheesy. Sorry, all those of you that have 80s laminate flooring at home. But there's a way to do that. You can't put it directly on the concrete floor. You'd have to put a barrier there that would allow air and it could dry out. But I have emailed to those of my compatriots up here a floor from the emergency room at Washington Regional Hospital, where I got to spend some time this afternoon with one of my children. And they have a tile floor that looks like wood, and it can go directly on a concrete floor, and there are no mold issues at all. Again, it could be a lot less expensive. And I don't mean to necessarily pick on anybody who gave us these quotes, but I can tell you, we just put real wood in our home last year, and we paid considerably less per square foot than we're being charged for carpet, which is usually cheaper. So I fear we got the government price, knowing that we are a government institution. So I'm not crazy about any of these estimates. I know that you wouldn't necessarily know that, but it's something that I've had to deal with. And I would like for council to consider the easier cleanup, less likelihood of a mold situation where we find ourselves right back where we have been, less money outlaid on putting in something like a tile floor, and we can get something that looks really nice. Again, when you get an opportunity to check your emails, I've sent that to you. With that said, with all due respect, I very much appreciate the time you put into it, and I think you've probably done exactly what the mayor has asked you to do, but I do think that there are probably some other options that we ought to consider. And I personally would rather table it and look at some of those other options. If my other council members don't agree, I'm totally fine with that, I understand. But I would like to make a motion to table this until we can find out more about other flooring options.
I would like to say real quick, with our Crawford and Company, our insurance claims, we went with carpet because that is what is included on there as our pricing. So if we're going to possibly want to do something else, instead of gluing carpets and doing that, then we would have to reach out to our insurance company and go through this whole process.
Understandable, but no insurance company is going to mind if we charge them less money.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I was just letting council and citizens be
absolutely,
aware that
yeah.
it would prolong the process.
Sure.
We can't continue forward. We just got the walls finished. So
Right.
once we get the carpet or whatever flooring, then we can move on to the next steps, which would be the exterior.
Yeah, I understand. And tabling in general, unfortunately, will delay that, which I apologize for up front. But again, I do think it's important enough that we do it correctly.
I do not have a problem getting other quotes. I will say that my only thought is carpet tends to absorb sound, and I wonder
Absolutely, yeah.
what tile or wood would do to the sound in this room. That's just a thought.
Yeah, it's a good question, and I think we'd probably have to maybe even consider some other sound barriers, and some of those other sound barriers may even cause some mold problems. I hear you.
But with that, I don't mind other quotes, so.
Okay, so my motion to table is out there.
How quickly do you think you could get these? I mean, I'm sure this is a curveball you weren't expecting, nor was I, but that's all right. Sorry. I assume you could reach out to these three. And was laminate a consideration? Was it ever? I know why you did it, because of the insurance.
Carpet.
That makes sense now that you said that. I do understand Councilman Burris's concerns. And if it is more cost efficient, I think we maybe probably should look at that if you wouldn't mind
I can reach
reaching
out
back out to
the
them.
3 companies and get other quotes on different flooring options and then represent it to you guys.
This may be something we don't even have to table to the next COW. It may be something that we can get done by the next city council meeting if you're, I
As long
mean,
as they respond back to me.
I
can
know
do
some
it.
things are out of your control, but we'll work with you as quickly as we can.
Yeah. And to answer Mrs. Ibarra, from a sound standpoint, we were in that ER on the 24th, and I was there again today, and it wasn't loud. I don't know if they were doing something else to make it not be loud, but it wasn't loud in there. And there were a lot of people, as ERs do.
Yeah, there's different types of barrier that you can put down. There's a cork barrier, and then there's a rubber barrier, and then there's plastic barrier. So depending on which flooring you look at, you know, you can help dampen that sound.
And I think on tile, you can go directly to the concrete flooring, and there's no mold problem there. I don't know what happens if you put other barriers in there, but you may be right. That may have helped damp some of that.
Yeah.
But it's worth looking into. And I don't mind getting it done more quickly, but I'd rather get it done right than get it done fast.
Okay, council, you do have a motion to
I started to
table.
say we have a motion to
So,
table. Are we
Either we're going to
Yep.
motion and vote on tabling it, or you're going to have to amend your motion to move it to city council and be able to get the information by then. So right now, it's a motion to table.
Motion to table, but Tim,
And Amber, was yours a second?
I didn't second.
Okay. You just agreed.
no second?
I'll second the table if we need a second for it. I thought a table just overrid it all.
Okay,
That's,
motion to table, so
Are we
roll
tabling
call.
this to the council meeting, or we to the next COW? I mean, Mike
Yeah.
mentioned making
To
a
the next
decision.
cow, right?
Would be, yeah.
Had
I was-
discussed the next cow.
Correct, yes.
Hopefully,
okay.
not pressing you, but have information by the next cow that we can decide on.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And
Okay.
either way, thank you so much. Your hard work for the city doesn't go unnoticed, and I'm so sorry to throw a curveball at you.
Oh, you're fine. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, roll call.
Tim,
Yes.
Amber,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Misty,
Yes.
Daniel,
Yes.
Larry.
Yes.
Motion table to the cow.
Okay, next we have a discussion to proclaim August the 11th as 8/11 Day. Robin, which,
Yes, sir. Got to move this down even further. Good evening. I'm Robin Mizell with Black Hills Energy, and we provide gas to over 100 cities in Arkansas. And last year, Tontitown was in our top 7 of damages hitting our gas lines. So I'm here tonight to ask your approval for a resolution that we proclaim. It's actually 811 Day, National 811 Day on Monday of next week. And we just appreciate your partnership and emergency response and also safety education. So our plan for Monday, thanks to the help of Megan and partnership with Mark Latham, our damage prevention coordinators are going to do a training in this room over lunchtime. We're planning for about 30 contractors, and we're providing lunch and some Dirt 811 cookies. And at that time, I believe the mayor will be back, and we're going to have a proclamation from the city. I think you have a draft in front of you. So we just appreciate your help in just creating awareness with all the rapid growth, as mentioned tonight, in Tontitown and this area, so much construction. And so it's just critical we continue to get the word out about calling 811 before you dig and the process of following those steps. So it's just a public safety message. So thank you for the opportunity.
thank you. Citizen comment? Council?
It's good to see you, Robin.
You too.
I love it. Let's not break power lines. I'll make a motion to approve that.
Gas lines
I'll
too.
second.
Roll call.
Who was that second?
Misty.
Okay, so we're motioning to move this to city council. That'll be-
To the special meeting.
Oh,
this
to
evening.
special meeting, I'm sorry.
Yeah, let me be more clear.
Yeah. Okay, Larry,
Yes.
Daniel,
Yes.
Misty,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Amber,
Yes.
Mike.
Yes.
Moving to special.
Next, we have a discussion with the Justice of the Peace, Mr. Brown.
Thank you, council, for allowing me to be here. As I promised when I was here for pre-election, I promised that I would come back and be transparent. And in doing so, what I would like to make perfectly clear is that being transparent means you can ask questions, okay? Any topic I talk about, or if you have a topic you want to discuss on my way out the door, you, by all means, ask away, and I'll do the best I can. And by the way, my name is Brad Bruns, and I live on Verona Avenue, right across the street from Larry, so I get to look at him every day. So anyway, and Rhonda too, yeah. And, but I just want to go through the agendas just real quick and kind of tell you what we voted on. If you want to know what I voted on in particular, I'll be happy to tell you. The first meeting was simply we were getting things in order as far as the rules and how we were going to establish stuff and Robert's rules, all that stuff we were getting in line. And then we did authorize the judge to pay for our state organization, which is kind of like y'all's municipal league, but it's a state organization that mainly convenes in Little Rock. And I would tell you, they're very accessible people. They have very good attorneys. They have responded very well with issues that we've had and that I've had questions about, and they're very, very sharp people. Then in February, we had an ordinance creating a community rebuilding initiative at the old county jail. That basically, that old county jail was something that had really been not taken care of. And so we started a new initiative there. And what that basically is, it takes, right now, we got about 15 people in the program, and they are chosen through criteria of the sheriff to come to this program. And basically it is, to keep from getting too technical, it basically is getting people ready to go back into society. And they have already, if it's a drug treatment, they've already been treated and they've been cleared. If they've gone to drug court, it's already been cleared. If they've, they had to have paid fines and costs, and everything has got to be updated for them. And then they go into this program and get acclimated back to society. So, and then we had probably a very tough ordinance. I voted against this ordinance, and I kind of pushed pretty hard against it, and that was salaries for the JPs. I want y'all to know we are the highest paid JPs or council people in the state of Arkansas. Okay. And my problem with that's not that the pay didn't need to be up. My problem with that was they had people come discuss issues with the public about the budget at public meetings. They wrote an ordinance on the budget. They approved it. And then we're 2 months into it, and all of a sudden this comes up. And so they changed it in 2 months. And I just felt like that was wrong because the public did not have a chance to come talk or discuss it. It just happened. Okay. And so, but I want you to know I voted against it. Okay. So don't throw nothing at me. The HIV clinic was, I don't know if y'all heard about that in the press or not, but it was basically shut down. We had a building that the HIV clinic was operating out of, and it was just shut down just within 30 days. And we did come back, and there was a place that Judge Deacon found that could hold not near as many people, but they didn't have as many people in the HIV clinic as they had had in previous years. And so the space was adequate enough, but yet we are getting what we call sharing. If you got somebody going to the HIV clinic, you're going to be asked to pay your share. Okay. And it's going to go right down the line. And Fayetteville, Springdale, whoever has people in it are going to be asked to share. And I will say that I am kind of proud that the county, we voted to carry over a little over $19 million, which is something that the county, Washington County, has not done in many years. So that's a lot of money to carry over and we got to carry it over into unfunded. We had a conditional use, and that conditional use and zoning has been a major issue with, and it could end up affecting y'all. It could end up affecting a lot of the small towns. Okay, depends on how this new law kind of comes into play and what the county judges in the state are going to try to do with that 2-mile hold that you all have had on Tontitown for so many years. But anyway, there was a place called the Moonlight Rentals that we ended up giving a CUP to. That kind of kicked off a controversial deal because of the CUPs, the way they are written, the way they are adjudicated, is very thin on an ice pond. I'm telling you, we need to redo the CUP. Okay, and then we also had an ordinance approving the planning board of adjustments for Arkansas Mailing Services, that the way they were distributing the mail, email even, and the county. So I heard it was kind of interesting to hear y'all talk about the email. We've had kind of the same issue come up. There were a couple other businesses. One, the old C4 site. Y'all remember that? Those of you that have been around a while probably remember it. I remember seeing it operate, and back in the 60s, before most of y'all were even born. But they took, and they're using part of it, and we allowed a CUP because they're using the part that's not been condemned at any point for dumping of radiation or could have been. So there's a business starting up out there. And then there's an ordinance in March with the zoning laws. And the problem with the zoning law in my personal problem with the zoning laws, I own several acres out south Washington County, and it seemed there were certain parties in the county government that wanted to control that and tell me what I was going to zone my property and use it for. And I'm way out in the mountains. Nobody even hardly knows how to get there. So I was very much against trying to put a zoning onto something that should be unincorporated land. I have no problem with people, and I've served on the Springdale City Council. I have no problem with zoning incorporated properties to keep people from having issues in property values and losing them badly and stuff like that. I have no problem with the zoning. I think the local people know the zoning the best, and they need to stay with the zoning. But zoning unincorporated property and especially trying to say, we're going to use highways and we're going to be able to put commercial property on all highways. Well, that came, and that was the pushing part that we shut down. It was voted down, and we said that what we did not want as a quorum court is to see the zoning go from planning straight to the judge's office, and then they make a final decision right there on what's being zoned. And we were taken out of it totally. Like y'all would probably have a fit if you got taken out of zoning in your city. And we said, hey, you know, we want a part of this. And so they did take it out, took that part out, and left it with planning to quorum court to circuit court, just like y'all are, okay? And then we get it back the next month, and instead of that phrase being put in the back part, it's put in the front part. So we caught that and said, now wait a minute, something's not right here. And so we voted that one down. And now we got a third reading. This is the third time this has come up since I've been on in 7 months. And it's on its third reading for next month, for this month. So it's going to be probably contentious because there are people in the county administration that are really fighting to get that. I don't know if you all have been down to see the Emergency Operations Center. Folks, if you got time or make time, it is phenomenal. They have done a great job putting that, and I give John Luther the credit. He's the Emergency Operations Director, okay, for putting together a good plan, a good department, okay. He's done well at the building of that and designing of that building, and he's done a very good job with it. And I tell you, if you go down there and we have an emergency in this county, we are prepared, okay. And then we did approve fire dues to go to Tontitown Volunteer Fire Department. And we had a resolution come before the quorum court. And that resolution was to make this a welcoming community. And I personally took offense to that because I've lived here 62 years and I've never known this county not to be welcoming to anybody. I haven't seen us, unless they went down south and visited the little holding cells down there, I haven't seen anybody kicked out of here. And we welcome people that want to be productive citizens. And I did not want to see the quorum court getting off on a tangent like our federal government has gotten and getting into things that are none of their business. And that we have no business. We're never going to vote on a a parade for straight people or a parade for gay and lesbian. We're not going to even touch that. That's not going to be part of our regime. But yet at the same point, they wanted a resolution, and we voted that down. If you look at our agendas periodically, you'll see that there are monies, and it's called money from the unappropriated county funds. And we're different than you all are as far as how we have to hold money. I had to learn this. But we have to hold, like if we get grant money, we can't hold it in an account somewhere. We have to put it in unappropriated funds and then divvy it out as we need it. And so when you see that on an agenda that we put out, it's really not funds that are out of taxpayer dollars necessarily. Some could be. But most of these, like for the EOC Center, is from the grant, okay? So some folks have come up, try to make a issue out of that, and it's really not an issue. It's not our money. And we're mandated on how we're supposed to use that anyway. Then the zoning law came up, zoning ordinance came up again. And for the third time, we shot it down again. And so it's coming up for a fourth time. So I guess you beat a horse, they think you're gonna let the horse go. But then the last thing I had was that I wanted to discuss with y'all and let y'all know about was from the July meeting. We are putting together criteria for early release to try to help the jail. And the early release is earned time. Obviously, they're not violent criminals. Obviously, they're DWIs, they're, you know, minor theft type stuff. And instead of holding them in jail and costing y'all $200 a day, we can make them do some public service and earn money to get back, or not earn money, but earn time to get back into society where they need to go. And we have just started that program. The criteria is not even put together yet, but we probably will see it coming up pretty shortly. Okay? Any questions from anybody?
Council.
I didn't put anybody to sleep, but I saw a couple nodding, but I didn't put anybody to sleep. So, all right. Well, thank you very much for having me.
Thank you, Mr. Run.
Thank you, Brad.
All right, next we have a discussion on sewer rates. Mr. Clark.
Corey thought he was next.
Wrong again.
Good evening. We are going to have a presentation from Waterworth. If y'all remember, we had a presentation from them before. We've got some updated numbers. Also in your packet, there is a public hearing notice. You should have all gotten one of these. And these are proposed rates, and Ari's going to give you a little bit of rundown on how we arrived at those numbers. Just a couple of things to note here. One thing that we've done is separate the residential from commercial rates. We always had or not always, but we've had a different rate for industrial, but commercial and residential has historically been the same. One of the things that we discovered is that that the residential rates may have been subsidizing the commercial rates a little bit. So for that reason, we split them up, and we're going to look at if you want to figure the percentages, residential rates are going to go up 10%, commercial rates will go up 20%, and industrial rates will go up 25%. Also, last thing, if you notice down at the bottom, it says if approved by council at the regular meeting on September 16th. So we're not going to vote on it this month. I'm going to bring the rates back to you on the September CAL. We'll hear it then, and then hopefully be able to vote on it at the September council meeting. With that, I'll turn it over to Ari.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Hi, Ari.
Awesome. I missed the roses from the desk from my last time I was here. I think it was a couple of months ago.
We only do that on Larry's birthday.
That was very beautiful. I really miss it. Okay, so thank you, James, for the introduction. I'm pretty happy to go over the wastewater model today. And let me know if you have any audio issues, I'll speak up a bit more if that does come up. Okay, so now to begin, just give a refresher before I go into the models. For everyone that hasn't seen the last presentation with Waterworth is a software platform that allows and enables utilities and communities to do financial forecasting, just to make sure that they are financially sustainable and also cover up any customer inequities to do. And today we're going to be looking at a live financial forecasting model for the wastewater service area, where Mark and James have spent a lot of time over the last few months just tailoring and making sure it's just right for us. And with that, I'm going to be sharing my screen. Can everyone see it?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So in front of us, again, we're seeing some pretty colors, but I'm going to break it down into three segments right here, beginning with the revenue requirements. So first up, I'm just going to double click and we're going to be seeing the operating expenses. You can see that in the x-axis, we have the years, and the y-axis, you have the amounts. We start off the years with 2021 in terms of actuals, all the way up to 24, and then the budget for 25, and then we have a 3% inflation put onto it, which is why you see a linear growth take place all the way up to 2036, which is where our model set up until. Next, we have our contracted treatment, which you can see is a larger portion of our operating expenses, and it's growing all the way up from 2025 budget at a rate of 5% over the years. That's what James and Mark had identified as an assumption. With both of these out of the way, we have our proposed debt service, which is going to be important for one of our capital improvement projects for the South Benadryl project that we have in front of us. And you can see that we're taking out a loan starting from 27-28, which is why you see that proposed debt service line come in for the annual debt service payments that we have. Lastly, we have our capital improvements. And this is where you see two different peaks to start off with. The first thing that we see, and the good news that we received recently, was the Bush Creek gravity sewer was costing us about $12.2 million. Luckily, we received a grant that fully covers it from 26 and 27. So you can see 6 million 26, 6.2 in 2027. Subject to change if anything does come up. And then we had some other projects with the second peak, which is the Penalto project that I mentioned for about $2 million for 28-29. Then you have the Barrington lift station, which is about 6.5 million. And then you also have this little placeholder that I kept aside from 2031 onwards, which is about $500,000, just in case any other big projects come up. And again, this is just a snapshot of time right now, because as you get closer to 2028, 2029, you might see other projects show up here in 2031 and beyond, but I've just kept 500,000 there as a placeholder. Altogether, if you just pause for a second, you can see that these are all of our revenue requirements, especially starting beyond 2025 that we see in front of us. At least for the next 5 years, we see a lot of big capital projects that I had mentioned, the borrowing funds, the treatment, the operating expenses, and so on. Now, when I move on to section number 2, which will be our revenues, they'll start layering in front of these mountains that represent our expenses. The first one that we have is a sale of service, and then we have a NICA surcharge. The NICA surcharge was actually a part of the sale of service from 21 to 23. It's just that we got updated numbers for 24, which is why I split the two aside from 24 onwards. So it is included in 21 and 23. I just got the numbers for 24, and that's when I started splitting them across. And in these revenues, you notice that we have that they do increase over time. So we have kept a standard increase of 3% across the years every year. And then we also have 3% growth, especially with how much growth they're experiencing. It could be higher than 3%, but we just kept 3% throughout in all of our rates, which is why you see our revenues slowly start to climb over the years. Then we have some other operating revenues, some developer contribution, especially in 2030. Then you have some non-operating revenues, which is our sales tax that's coming in. And you can see that big contribution coming in 2029. Then you have those grants for about $12.2 million, evident right here, and then also in 2029. And finally, you have our borrower funds that I had mentioned earlier for that project. Now, before I move on to the section number 3, we can see that we have our revenues, those bars in the foregrounds, and the backgrounds, you have all your expenses. So we can see this is lining up our revenue expenses clearly. And just a rule of thumb before I put in a cash position, if you look beyond 2025, whenever you see your mountains in the back being taller than the buildings in the front, or there's bars in the front, that's when you start to see our cash really start to dip down. And the most evident cases are in 2025, a bit in 2028, and then 2030 onwards. That's when you start to see that gap occur. So when I do layer in the cash position, you can see that we're doing well and it stays steady from 26 to 2030. But as soon as we see that gap occur with the projects, with the capital expenses being much higher, we start to see our cash really dwindle down. And by 2031, we're seeing it go below zero. Now, if I isolate it, something that we also need mindful of is that we're not waiting for our cash to go below zero, and this will be evident in other scenarios as well, is we also have an operating threshold, which is the red dotted line that you see in our screen in front of me. And this essentially tracks all of our operating expenses, about 6 months of all of our operating expenses, plus any debt service, all 100% covered in this operating expenses threshold. So this operating threshold is essentially like a minimum floor that we need to maintain over the years, because we always want to stay above it, because if you go under this operating threshold, we'll find ourselves in a very difficult situation, because if you have any turnover or any additional overages in terms of operating expenses, we may need to take transfers out and etc. And that could cause some issues. So that's almost like a floor that we have set for ourselves. If you add $500,000 more on top of this floor that we have in front of us, that's how you get the cash position target. And the $500,000, which is the difference between the operating threshold and the cash position target, is essentially earmarked for any capital expenses that may occur. And that's how you make up those two guidelines. So the operating threshold is the floor, and the cash position target is essentially where we want our cash to be, accounting for any unexpected capital expenses. Let's say if there was any capital overages where we expect the project to be 6 million, it came up to be 6.5, or if you want to build up to that surplus and build high enough where in the future years you can spend it down. Either way, these are the two guidelines, and you want to stay closer to this black dotted line while staying above the red dotted line at all times. I've said a lot over there. just gets a refresher. I'm just going to pause, bring you back to the main screen. Any questions before I go ahead and showcase the scenarios?
See none.
Okay, perfect. So now let's talk about the scenario which we have in front of us. Clearly, one thing that you notice, the only change that I have made is in the rate schedule itself. What we have decided is that we're going for, let's say, a 15% increase in overall revenue. It's not increase in rates particularly, that's what James had broken it down for you. It's just increasing our revenues by 15% starting September 2025, or whenever the rates are passed. That will allow us to keep afloat, and also followed by some 10% increase in revenues, not rates across the board, revenues. And that overall should allow us to stay above the operating threshold, at least be close to it with all of our different capital expenditures. And eventually, in most years, we can stay close to their target, and you can see we build up the surplus, we spend it, and that's how the cycle continues. Again, this outline and this view of the cash position that we're looking at is subject to the changes that I've made in this screen, which is essentially the 15% increase in revenues, and then followed by a few 10s, 8s, and eventually you can drop it down to a 5% overall. I do want to pause here for a second and say that the rates that you're seeing beyond 2025 are not something that we want to, it's not going to be set in stone. It's subject to be reviewed annually. That we're going to look back and say that, is this 10% right based on the quotes that we received in updated CIPs and capital plans? So do keep that in mind. This is just a plan that we have according to the schedule and assumptions you have made currently. Okay. So now that I've said that we want to go for, let's say, a 15% increase in revenue, how do we split the rates? How do we achieve that target? And the way we do that is, as what James had mentioned, we'll be going for a change in our proposed rates. You can see that I've made a structural change based on James and Mark's input. We essentially we had only one base rate. Now we have 3, which is a bit different for all 3 customer classes. You can see that residential is 10% higher than our base rate, 20% for commercial, and we set the industrial use at $1,000 per month. So it'll be about $12,000 annually. Moving on to the variable rates, we did the same percentages that we did for the base rates to the current variable rates, and we just increased industrial's variable rate by 25%. I'm going to pause here for a second just so you can see the rate card before I move ahead.
Ari?
Yes, sir.
Why the 600 and, what is that, 56% increase on industrial on the base rate? I don't think we have any industrials in, well, let me start with this. They're the only industrial we have right now? Okay. So I'm not necessarily opposed to any rate, but I'm curious, why was it 1523 and then going up 646% to $1,000?
That's a great question, sir. So we had discussions with James and Mark. They can probably explain it better than I can. But for us, it was essentially that we found some inequity in terms of what the industrial users were paying compared to what residential were paying. And we realized that this could be a fair amount. And I would like James to maybe explain further as well.
Well, it does seem inequitable. Maybe the question is more along the lines of why was it 1523 before, but carry on. Thank you, Ari.
Because it was way undercharged. Mainly, we're making this huge jump on the industrial because it costs more to deal with the industrial waste, sludge,
right,
wastewater, than it does the residential and commercial. So we're going to ask them to help pay for that additional cost on top of the surcharge that they will pay for the waste itself.
Right, and I understand the best time to do the right thing is right now, but I mean, for years and years and years, it's been really, really low.
Right, I mean, originally, all of them were the same, residential, commercial, and industrial. Well, when I started, they were like 879 1,000. And, but if you remember, a couple of years ago, we took a sales tax that was dedicated to sewer to subsidize the amount of treatment. That was at that time amounted to about $500,000 a year. So since that time, we've had to find ways to get that revenue back, and unfortunately, the only way to do that's rates.
Okay, well, thank you. Thank you, Ari. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, no worries. Great question, sir. And just the next part for us is just showing what the impact of the proposed rates are on the average bill. So if I head down, you can see that we have the residential customer class. I can just zoom in a little bit. That's the industrial. So what we're looking at is if someone's using about 3,000 gallons, 5,000 gallons, and 10,000, each one will just see a 10% increase in their bills. Someone that's using 3,000 will see about $4.55, $6 for 5,000, and $11. So it's all proportionally equal for residential in terms of their bills. And if I move on to industrial, you can see that with the 25% increase and the $1,000 that we have, you will see that their bills, if they're using about 12,000 gallons in terms of usage, will be about 31%. And as they start using up more, they become more efficient and they go down to about 28% with 2,400 KUSG. Any questions on the average bills? Do you like to see them again? Suspect not. So I will move ahead and stop sharing my screen. And I wanted to ask, would we like to see any of those dashboards that we have in front of us, or we can also talk about any scenarios if you'd like.
All right, it looks like they're okay with what you've shown so far.
Awesome. All right. I guess I'll take your leave here.
Thank you. I appreciate you zooming in for us.
Thank you.
I wish I could come in person. That would be my dream, but Teams is enough for now, I guess.
Yes, sir. Thanks.
All right.
Thanks, sir.
Take care, everyone. Thank you for letting me present.
Good to see you again. Thanks for coming.
Bye.
I would like to say we did a little pre-meeting meeting a week ago Friday, I believe it was. Invited Mike to come in and kind of go through this with us. It's so hard in this type of setting for everyone to be able to interact and ask questions. So as Mike suggested, I would offer that opportunity to any one of you. If you want to come in and go through this, we can get Ari on the line, and you can see, I mean, everything is based on projections, and it's going to change. Our needs are going to change, and it's going to be different from year to year. And we can go in there and we can plug in numbers for projects. We can change rates, see how it affects the bottom line. And like I said, you're all welcome. If you want to set up a time to do that, just give me a call and be glad to do it. Mike, did it help at all?
It helped a lot. And, especially, plugging in the $12.2 million grant, it made a huge difference in the graph as far as the mountains not being too much bigger than the buildings in front of them. Also important to note is that the projected rate increases that are at the bottom, as he said, are annualized annually, or reevaluated annually is what I should say. And that's important. We're not locked into, oh yeah, we're going to stick it to you this much percent every year for the coming years. It's just projected numbers. Right. But I think, with the growth and the impact fees and the increased customers, the revenues should probably look better. And, having them on those sheets and having the one-on-one discussion, I'd encourage all of you next time that presentation is available, if you're available, to take part in it, because it's pretty helpful. I appreciate you inviting me down to see it.
It's a great software platform. It's very easy for Ari to manipulate. I need to spend some more time with it myself. But anyway, it's a work in progress. We can change things, very easily. I noticed something tonight that we need to change. So the next time you see it, it'll be different. But anyway, like I say, let me know if you'd like to see the presentation individually, and we'll set that up.
Thanks.
Thank you, Jane.
That's it. Thank you.
Next, we have a 5-minute pause.
Almost made it.
Try to be as exciting as the last one.
All right, cool. Next, we have a discussion to add and remove police vehicles. Mr. Jennison.
Quick change on the resolution under section 1. Just need to get something changed on here. The 2018 Dodge Charger is actually a Challenger. The VIN number is correct. The year and the make is correct, but it is a Challenger instead of a Charger. That vehicle was awarded to us for a forfeiture drug trafficking case. So that's the vehicle we're looking to trade in and remove from fixed assets. I don't know if this is together or one than the other.
Yeah, Chief, I
say it's section 1.
It's in the second resolution, but you got 2 resolutions.
The second resolution, got it.
Oh, I see. Challenger instead of Charger.
Yes.
Okay, I guess. Do you have any comments from citizens?
Sorry.
Council, questions for Chief?
Chief, thanks for pointing out that that's a Challenger, not a Charger. The VIN number is correct?
Correct.
The year is correct?
Yes.
Thank you. So we received a seized property that is our right to dispose of as we see fit.
Yes.
We've utilized it past few years. The SRO has been driving it at the school. No longer have the SRO position over there. And so don't necessarily have a use for this vehicle. It's not applicable to really put out on patrol. So
Do we have to get state bids on these, or is this a state bid?
So on the trade-in, on kind of separate the two. So need to remove this one for fixed assets to move forward on trading that one in towards something. Friday, so when we got this quote originally, it was not quoted as state bid from different dealership from what Chief Krug has. Friday, we had a discussion where he had found his. They do have some state bid in there. When we originally discussed this back on the 17th of July, This dealership did not honor the state bid, is why you have the resolution to waive the competitive bidding. What we had asked to get that down there was basically, they put in $1,000 discount on the sale price, and then they adjusted the trade-in value. So talking with Chief Krug Friday, that was before we knew all of this, Chief Krug found dealership that has that, was able to track somebody down with the state and found out the reason the Tahoes were not showing on the state bid website. The reason why is because they have closed the ordering process for them for this year, is why it's been removed on there. They are still honoring that price, and it's roughly $2,707 difference in price. So Chief Krug's is at $54,165. The sell price is at $56,872. So that was the next part of this. I would like the Challenger to be able to trade and work on that if you guys want us to pursue. They indicated to Chief Krug that they do have other vehicles there, same as this. And so if you guys would like to go that route, we can. We just found that out Friday, so haven't had a chance to confirm on that.
So do they take the trade-in on the state bid price vehicles?
Completely separate, yeah. The trade-in, they will do trade-in on state bid price vehicles. But we have not talked to that other dealership about trade-in.
What do you want to do?
I feel like I don't know, it's hard to say what the trade-in value would be at the other one, kind of their way of, they had to be at amount to sell it at. They just don't honor the state bid pricing. So their way around of dropping down some of that price was to increase the trade-in value. They originally offered $15,000 on the trade-in, upped it to $16,872, and then knocked off $1,000, bringing us down to the sale price would be the $40,000. So
to me, it looks fair. I mean,
I think it's reasonable in there. I don't know, the $2,707 difference of the original sale price. If we get the same offer, the price on the vehicle trade-in, I feel is reasonable as well. There is mechanically sound, the vehicle is good shape. However, there is some defects now in it from the installation of our lights and equipment. So there's holes in the console, holes in the vehicle, the hood and the trunk, or the roof and the trunk. So there is some defects to the vehicle that somebody would need to deal with. So Blue Book value from what we researched on it is anywhere from 18 to 20. But that's kind of difference of the price there is what we've done to it on the installation on it. So we're open to either option on it. I think that that vehicle, that $16,872, I mean, that there was no cost in that forfeiture. So that vehicle was awarded to us. There's no money lost from the city on that. So the trade-in value to this vehicle is only going to be somewhat of an income to the city. So.
And the MSRP on the 25 Tahoe seems really fair, but do we need a 25 Tahoe? If we got a 24 Tahoe, how does that change the pricing there?
Don't know that there are any available.
Okay. And it's in the budget?
Yes.
Well, then that's all I need to hear.
So do we just need to push this through to the special meeting?
Yes, if you would.
Well, I'll make a motion that we.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, go right ahead.
I think I don't know if they put this together, but there should be two separate things here. One is the resolution to remove the Challenger from fixed assets, and then one is for the purchase.
Yeah, there's actually, it's on one, but we'll get two separate. Okay.
Yes. Thank you.
We can send them both together as one, right?
I think we have to do one and then the other.
Okay. So the motion was on
The motion was to
waive the bidding?
Sure, to waive the bidding, we'll go with that one.
I'll second.
roll call.
I'm confused.
There's-
The motion to waive the competitive.
Oh, I see. Okay,
And then
yeah.
The second motion is a resolution to remove the.
Okay.
Can we do
Okay,
it
so
two
this is
first?
to
or
waive.
Do you want us to do one and then the other?
We're doing one at a time, I guess, just to be safe.
Fair enough.
Okay, this is to waive it.
A resolution.
I
yes.
made that motion, but I don't know who
Okay.
seconded it. And Misty seconded.
All right, Misty,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Daniel, Amber,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Larry.
Yes. Next, I look for a motion on a resolution removing certain property and equipment from the fixed assets.
I'll make that motion as well.
Second.
Who was that?
Second.
Amber and Danny.
Misty?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Daniel?
Yes.
Amber?
Yes.
Tim?
Yes.
Larry?
Yes. And we will move that to our special meeting. Next, we have a discussion to add a fire vehicle, Chief Crew.
You guys have any questions on, I mean, we're just trying to purchase an additional vehicle for the department.
Tell me all about it.
What would you like to know?
Everything there is to know. I want to know it all. And is it in the budget?
Yes, sir.
Cool, I'm done.
I can fairly summarize what you said when you talked to us. You're replacing a couple of much older vehicles, 2017 and an 18, is that right?
Yes, we're keeping the other vehicles.
You are keeping them?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
We're using one for inspections and the other one for a training vehicle.
But they're high mileage, showing some signs of wear and tear?
They're a little bit older. They're not really high mileage, just getting a little bit older.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And when we discussed it, as I said, Chief, rather than wait till everything breaks down and buy all at once, let's kind of try to add equipment as we can. And that way, keep him happy, keep us happy.
Now, that money in the budget, was that earmarked for a vehicle? Or was that just
Fixed assets?
Yeah,
And thank you for the phone call. That was helpful.
Yes.
always helps. Yeah, thanks. I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Roll call.
This will move to the special meeting. Mike?
Yes.
Tim?
Yes.
Larry?
Yes.
Amber?
Yes.
Daniel?
Yes.
Misty?
Yes.
Moving to special, the special meeting. Next, we have a discussion to rezone 1529 Artemani Road, parcel number 830-379-002. Mr. Spurlock.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Appreciate the willingness to hear this tonight, and you guys are in an agreeable mood, so hopefully this will go good. We have before you a rezone request for 1529 Artemani Avenue. This has been before the Planning Commission, was voted unanimously. The only error that I saw here was July 24th, not June 24th, but it was the July 24th was passed unanimously. This property is owned by Michael Cheney. He's here to discuss if you have any questions. He's going to split his property equally. It's currently zoned agriculture. Once we split it, it'd be a non-conforming lot. So in order to do that, we'd have to rezone this as RE. He'd have 2 RE lots in which he could build. And once again, this is brought before the Planning Commission and was approved unanimously. He is here to discuss if you have any questions, or if I can answer any questions.
So is the plan to build 2 houses on the RE?
He's got one.
I see there's one on it already.
Additional house.
Yes.
Thank you for being here, Mr. Cheney. Appreciate it.
Michael Cheney, 1529 Artemani. Yes, I have one property built on the far west side of it.
Right.
So just looking at rezoning it in half, it'll be 2.5 acres for the house that is there, and then planning on building another house in the near future on the other 2.5.
All right. Appreciate that.
Can I convince you to keep it agriculture and not build can he build a second house in
No.
ag? You can't.
I tried to survey it a couple of years ago, and that was what kind of started the.
It'd be non-conforming lots.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And then in the area, this is more a question for you, Mr. Spurlock. There are some things that don't necessarily line up and other things that do line up with the area around it. But to go from ag to RE is probably the best scenario to get what Mr. Cheney wants to have done. I did, yeah. Yes, sir. Okay, thank you. And thank you.
Any other questions, council?
I'll make a motion to move this to city council.
I'll second.
Roll call?
Tim?
Yes.
Amber?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Misty?
Yes.
Daniel?
Yes.
Larry?
Yes. Next, we have a discussion on subdivision plats. Mr. Spurlock.
All right. Next thing you have before you is the resolution to approve final plats. We do this usually on a quarterly basis. This is everything that will be caught up to this year, up to the current moment. And so we have went through this. Madeline and I have went through and vetted everything as we did before. If you guys, thank you, Mike. If you guys have any questions, by all means, we're here to answer any questions, but we're asking to seek approval to move this to City Council for final approval.
I didn't go look at those. I probably will between now and City Council, but I don't at all mind making a motion to send it to council.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Larry,
Yes.
Daniel,
Yes.
Misty,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Amber,
Yes.
Mike.
Yes.
Next, we have a discussion on Clint's Road as to public safety and weight restrictions. Mr. Latham.
Let me just update you because the saga continues with the traffic light after talking with the contractor today. The subcontractor was to extend the culvert underneath Clink Road there at 412 and found out that the spec that they had drawn up was only a 36-inch pipe when in fact it's a 42-inch pipe. So they had to put in a change order to RDOT, which takes a long time. Talking about maybe $2,000 difference. That change order was sent in on June 30th, and as this time, we still haven't heard anything from RDOT. So there's like 7 people have to sign off on a $2,000 item. But anyway, let me just kind of, I mentioned, I think at the last meeting, I talked about the fact that we really need to take a look at what we're going to do possibly on Clink Road. I think most of you know that I told you I was very concerned about public safety. One of the concerns, we just got a thing that came through from a resident today. Concerned about truck traffic. She lives in South area, and it's getting worse and worse each day. The other thing is that I do have a big problem with what's going on with the road surface. If you guys know, I mean, most of those trucks, let's just take a full loaded trash truck weighs roughly almost 65,000 pounds. Those roll-offs they bring in weigh upwards to 80,000 pounds. And there's semi-trucks going in and out of there all the time, which are definitely up in the 80,000 pound category. It hasn't been that long ago, 8 years ago, it's probably, I could tell there wasn't no subdivisions out there at all. It was nothing but trash trucks. And, a few residentials out there, but it really is exploding. Estimating right now, we've got probably 10,000 more trips per day from the residential side, just going on Clink. As I mentioned, the road conditions will continue to degrade, basically sold on truck weight. Streets in Tontitown were never built to withstand that type of weight. I enclose the current ordinance for your review. Talks about a maximum single axle of 20,000, tandem 34,000. Then in number 3, which I think we probably all eliminate, but anyway, total maximum weight, excess of 80,000 pounds. Just think about that, because even your major highways are 80,000 pounds. And you see the truck traffic guys from RDOT stop trucks all the time based on their weight. And we've got a road out there that was never built to those type of standards. The other thing that talks a little bit about, has to do with letter C, which says no through trucks, Public Works Director and Chief of Police have the ability to designate streets inside the city limits a no commercial and/or through truck traffic if the streets are not capable of handling truck based on street size, safety, or any other reason. Streets will be properly marked with signage to prevent the flow of trucks. Juneau Clink is always been and has been for many, many years the major truck route to the landfill. But I don't know if we can continue to have that happen. And so I bring it to her attention. I mean, the option is to put up a note. You can either say no through trucks, or the option would be have a weight type thing on it. It basically says these trucks can't come through. It will require, as you know, ordinances are great and everything, and you've got to be able to regulate that, which means that we're going to have to find some way to be able to get the police targeted into what's going on. But we'll have to give some notification, I assume, to Waste Management, indicating the efforts, if that's the action you want to take. But I'm really, the two things I'm really focusing on is the fact that there's so much residential traffic out there right now. It's only getting worse when school gets in. And, there's sidewalks that are being built out on there. Pedestrians out there. Traffic speed limit's probably a little bit excessive. Might want to reduce that down, but we just don't have a lot of extra money when it comes to maintaining our roads, especially when we have that kind of weight that's going on that road. So
Would that pretty much divert all traffic to Barrington? I mean, the trash.
Well, Barrington really is not a road that's
they could
capable of handling either. I mean, we really don't have a road that's capable of handling that, including the counties. I really don't know what to do. I'm disappointed that Waste Management hasn't stepped up to the plate, helped us out. It don't seem like they want to give any money to anybody. Everything's all tied to, hey, if you don't send us to court, we'll give you this money. Well, what a way to be able to do business. When we're talking about you're in a community, you should be community minded, that type of stuff, but they're all into this legal jiggle stuff. And they want everything best for them and not for what's best for this city. And that's what's sad. You just heard from what James was talking about with the lift station issues and the leachate and everything else going on. The damages that company has done to this city is unbelievable. Doesn't even care about what they're talking about, air permits. We're talking about just roads and just what's going on there at the lift station, taking on that leachate. So anyway, I'll leave it up to you all what you want to do.
I'm going to say,
just bringing to your attention.
Yeah, I'm going to say something that I don't think you'll ever hear me say, have heard me say before, and you'll probably never hear me say it again. In Waste Management's defense, that's the thing. They're not going to pay anything if they don't have to, because they're not going to step up, because they don't care about this community.
I agree with that.
They do care about Waste Management. And maybe they're not alone in that, but I do agree with your sentiment. I do have some questions about this. What do we do about the traffic? I agree with you. Our streets can't handle it, and they shouldn't have to handle it. And we've got heavier trucks on these roads that are probably even allowable on I-49. But what do? We can't just dump trash from a chopper. How do they move about, number one? Number two, can those like Waste Management who have those heavier trucks, can we legally press them to bring our streets up to an acceptable level? And then my third question, I probably should let you answer each one, but I'm sorry. I'll ask again if you'd like, is in section C, you mentioned that the Public Works Director and the Chief of Police have the ability to designate streets inside, that are however we want to designate them. Is that that they both have to agree, or is that an and/or? Like one or the other could do that?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I have no idea.
Okay, then let's move back up to the beginning. What do we do about the traffic? And then is there a way that we could legally impress upon Waste Management to have to do something?
Well, I think a letter to be sent talking about discussions and how this council feels about what's going on. I mean, I personally don't think, you think about it, how much this whole area is growing. I mean, they're moving, 30 people into this 2-county area a day. How much trash increase is that? And how many more trucks are going to have? One of the options would be and I don't know if I do think that we truly need to get their attention. And I'm not in favor of, I'll be honest with you, I'm not in favor, if anything, trying to do something where the regular trash trucks could use the road, but anything above that would have to find an alternative area. That might be a possibility, but
it's tearing up our road.
But it's going to have to require that they spend some money on that road. We're talking a lot of money. If you rebuild that road to where it should be a standard, you're talking a lot of money.
How many zeros, Mark?
I don't know. It was $11 million that was estimated just to upgrade Barrington that we applied for in the RAISE grant, and that was from Bandini out to Taldo Loop. That's not very far.
No.
I think that we need to really get in their head that they need to find an alternative area that they can drive down. I don't think Barrington is.
No, that would not be good.
When you go down Arbor Acres, you come into Barrington, the blind side will all get out trying to run tractor trailers through there and everything else. I just don't think that's a good idea. And this is not really capable of handling a lot of turn radius here if they're turning anywhere else.
So what do you want this council to do?
I want you to be, I know you're concerned about it. I would need some direction on what you would like to see me do. Do you want us to write them a letter and tell them we're considering eliminating any kind of, put up a weight limit on the road?
Absolutely.
Okay. I don't know. I just need some direction. There is a concern I have. It's public safety, deterioration of the road with no.
Yeah, I don't think we need to vote on a letter, but maybe a head nod would let you know if we're interested. Those in favor?
Maybe what we ought to do is put a resolution together that you guys approve, just outlining what you think they need to be doing, and then we'll send it to their attorneys and we'll see what they say.
Sure.
But it's time to stop the freebies. You see what happened? It's time to stop the freebies. You saw what James did on that. We did on those sewer rates. Time to pay up.
Agreed. Well, bring us a resolution, and I suppose you can get us that the next cow? Mr. Latham, can you get us a resolution at the next cow? Fantastic, thank you.
Well, I did not give citizen comment, so if you would like to come up and comment, Miss Nina.
Nina Brown, 1851 South Penalto. If we're talking about an alternative route, and Barrington's not it, we're talking about getting rid of Clink, where are we going?
One idea that's been floated is that in order for them to get to their facility, they would have to create a roadway.
How would that come about?
I don't know. But they would probably have to buy some land, and they would have to come up with the materials to create a road at several $1 million per mile.
Okay. Is Harmon Road the first option? I have heard that at one time.
I don't know.
I don't know the answer.
Don't know the
It's
answer.
one, I mean, it's there. They pay the county more than they pay us, is that right?
Okay.
So,
Well, there is a sign on South Penalto, the ton limit. We're not going to violate that, are we?
Don't have any intention of doing that. That would be another dangerous intersection that's.
Well,
there are plenty of violations from that organization on lots of different things.
Okay.
But I think we're going to do the best we can to keep them from violating all of them.
Bill, I just thought if we've got to find an alternative clink now, what are we going to use?
You mean, what is Waste Management going to use?
Yes.
I can't speak for the council, I can speak for myself. If they have to find their own route, that's their business, and it doesn't bother me how much they have to spend to fix that particular problem. But they would have to buy land, they would have to fix that on their own, yeah. I'm sorry, I don't have a better answer.
More time, Mr. Levitt. As I said, I didn't allow for, citizen comment.
Becca Timmons, 2024 South Penalto. So to continue on what Nina was talking about, there's that low water bridge on South Penalto. You think that can hold the weight of those trucks?
Well, those trucks aren't supposed to travel on South Penalto.
Well, some trucks do.
Yeah, they do they're only supposed to be able to do that on trash days, but you're right, that creates a problem on those days.
That would not make a very good alternate route for any of those things. Those semis, in fact, I even saw a semi come down the road the other day. When it came right past my house, I'm like, where did you come from? But anyway, so they don't really honor that sign. It's kind of little and it's kind of faded. So, and also to consider, they're going to fight you guys on everything you want.
Yes, ma'am.
And they're going to take any road they want.
Well,
If they can't get down Clint's, they'll do whatever they want.
well, I think the time of the freebies, as Mr. Latham pointed out, are over.
Good.
I don't see that they're good neighbors. I've been saying that for several years, and good neighbors are treated differently than bad neighbors. So if they want to be good neighbors, I can be a good neighbor, and if they can't, then that's fine. That's their business.
You know, you guys tried to get rid of them completely and close them down, and nobody paid attention to it. It was like it's the only place that they can have it, so be it. They're going to get to have it. It's frustrating. Thank you. Sorry.
Kenneth Lovett, 18702 Clearwater Road, September the 5th, 2025. There's going to be a legal hearing on whether or not they get their permits. That's our chance. Our way of doing things is to get rid of them, shut it down and close it down. Harmon Road is a county road. The county can't even keep up with what they got. They spray it with gravel, cover it with tar. So they do have another entry down there by the bird sanctuary, but that goes out on Wheeler. That's not a proper road either. So just something to think about. Be there the 5th. Appreciate y'all.
Next, we have a discussion on updating the Amalfi contract to build Fletcher Road. Zach.
Good evening. So I am asking to table this tonight.
Second.
Okay, good deal. Just to give you an update, the Mafia legal team has come back with contract revisions. That's why you're seeing this again. And on Saturday, I got another round of revisions. So we're not ready for this discussion. So I am requesting this to be tabled.
I will make a motion that we table this then.
I'll second.
Next Cal possibly, maybe, who knows?
I mean, they had a deadline.
There's a sense of urgency. Well, I think to do it right, let's shoot for the next Cal.
Okay.
Okay, well, motion and a second.
Well, I will. I don't want to make light of your time though, but,
This is the thing we voted on 20 days ago, correct?
yes.
Okay.
Yes. And like I said, they've come back with contract updates. I thought we had that vetted with the city attorney and I got new ones this weekend. So that needs to go back to the attorney and re-looked at.
And they're higher, I'm guessing?
They're not, no, it's really arguing semantics. It's more terminology changes than the actual contract or the cost amount itself. But we got to get the two orders to agree.
Okay. So in the meantime, we passed one on July 15.
Yes.
And that, I mean, I guess it doesn't do anything if they don't act upon it, correct?
Right.
All right.
So at this point, it's changed enough to where we need to do it again, to do it right.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, okay, there's a table. Right.
I tabled it out.
There was a motion.
I second.
Roll call.
Daniel,
Yes.
Misty,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Larry,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Amber.
Thank you, Zach.
Thank you.
Next, we have a discussion to add Rachel Strickland as a museum board member. Misty.
So the mayor usually offers this, but she's not here tonight, so I offered to do this. In July, the museum board unanimously voted to add her to our board. It still leaves us, we can go up to 15 board members, and this will make number 13 to fill our gap for fundraising. And so she will be here next meeting when we vote, if we make a motion to move this to council.
Citizens, do you care one way or the other? Council.
Doesn't matter to
I
me.
make a
I'll
motion. Then, yeah. Nope, Mike did it. I'll second.
Roll call.
Larry,
Yes.
Daniel,
Yes.
Misty,
Abstain.
Tim,
Sure, look forward to meeting her.
Amber,
Yes.
Mike.
Yes.
Next, we have a discussion on the revision of bank signatures. Daniel.
I was brought this.
I'm sorry. Yes, go ahead.
I was brought this by Miss Artemani. She had some things to bring up on this. subject.
Yes, I do. Okay. Now that the organizational chart was passed at the last city council meeting, I went to the bank to verify who was the authorized signers for the city accounts. We have 6 people who are currently authorized signers. This includes the clerk, mayor, 2 council members, and 2 city employees. After speaking with the bank and getting their recommendation, I agree there are too many people being allowed to sign checks. My request is that the 2 city employees be taken off the list because they are not stewards of the city accounts, whereas the elected officials are. This is to show transparency, safeguarding of city funds. The bank and I agree there should be only 3, but no more than 4 signatures allowed. The city clerk will be the main signature or signer, the mayor, and 1 or 2 accessible and reliable council members can be the second signature. Currently, those council members are Larry Artemani and Amber Barra, but if a change is needed, now's the time to do so. Bank signatures will also, bank signers will also be on the safety deposit box too. So they will be the only ones allowed to do that. After the council decides who will be the authorized signers, I will take copies of the minutes to the bank for their records, and I'll notify the approved signers when to go to the bank, and they will need to bring proper identification and sign the paperwork. And we're going to do it all at the bank and no more. I don't want to do it here anymore. I think it would be just up and up that we just do it that way.
Well, yeah.
You mean as opposed to when we
It's
start passing
supposed to
everything,
bringing it here
And
and doing
everybody
it
sign it?
here, just go to the bank and
it's all
and
here.
it's all
in Tontitown,
done.
is it not?
Several banks, which particular?
It's the Centennial, right up here in town.
Citizens, do you have any comments on this? I'm not sure I'm trustworthy enough to be on there, but.
I think you're doing great. I do have a question. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I did look to see if there was a ordinance, and I could not find a good updated one until I talked to Mike and he found something, so I'll let him.
Is that in our packet?
No.
It is not in the packet. It's just in the section or code 32.02. It's the last item, item K. It says each council member, the clerk, treasurer, and the mayor shall be authorized to sign checks or drafts on the city account. So the only people that should be authorized, it looks like by code, are council members, the clerk, treasurer, and the mayor. So
that makes sense.
If we want to amend it to say, the number 2 reliable and accessible council members, I mean, I don't know if we need to do that. I mean, the code already lays out who the authorized signatories should be. So we just need to remove anyone who's not a council member or clerk treasurer. And I certainly have no problem with the 2 council persons who are currently in that role to keep fulfilling that role should they so desire.
And if they weren't reliable and accessible, we wouldn't have used them in the first place, right?
I would hope not.
Okay, so if that's what the law is, I guess the rest of it doesn't really matter. But out of curiosity, is there a reason? So I understand what you're arguing for, and I get it. But is there a reasonable reason to have an employee ever be one of those 3 or 4 signers?
Well, just like I said, they're not the stewards of the city
I agree.
accounts.
I agree. If you were to play the other side of that,
we are the
can you think
stewards. We're the ones that are responsible for this, not a city employee.
Okay.
So
you can't, you
Yeah.
couldn't find a reasonable excuse for having I agree with you, but you can't find a reasonable reason why it might be. I can't. I was wondering if you could.
They're just here.
well, it's,
There is an accessibility, I guess, right?
it's very accessible. Before, they could just say, oh, here, I need you to sign this check for me and have the 2 here. I never saw it. So now we've got the organizational chart. I will be seeing all of them.
Okay.
And looking at the invoices. And if there's ever a discrepancy, we see that, or we hope to see it. And then we can catch it before it goes any further.
Well, my view is you're at the top of the food chain, so what you want is fine with me. If that's what you want, I'm absolutely amenable to it. Do we have a resolution or an ordinance in place for this?
The only thing that I can see, I mean, you might want to remove the people who are not authorized to be. I don't know that we need a resolution, maybe something we can run by Justin, but
Yeah.
I mean, it's in the code, so.
And whomever those citizens are, let's say worst case, one of those citizens got fired. Again, I don't know whose signers are, but if they got fired, could they walk down to the bank and write themselves a check?
No,
They could not, because it takes 2.
it takes 2, and plus the checks are locked up.
Oh,
I'm just saying that, city employees have their own work they've got to do.
Got it.
This is our responsibility.
Sure, yeah, I would agree with that. To remove them as signatories, do they need to sign something at the bank to have themselves removed, or is that something that?
No, we can remove them.
Okay.
So what we'll do is I'll just get with them and get the cards, signature cards corrected and have the 2 city employees taken off. And then, but do you guys want to stay on?
Yeah,
I don't mind. I was just going to say, I don't mind going to the bank to sign checks, but it is way more convenient to come to City Hall because we're always popping up here anyway for.
It's not the checks themselves, is it?
No, it's the signature cards.
Okay, so we will
Signature
still come here
card.
to sign checks?
Yes.
Oh, I
yes,
misunderstood.
yes.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, the signature cards you just do at the bank, and that's.
Oh, perfect.
Once we get that finalized, then we'll just do the
No issue.
these checks here.
Yeah.
Then it sounds like this is completely non-controversial.
Okay, so do we need to do anything or just?
I will get with Justin and see if we have to have a resolution or an ordinance drawn up, and I'll bring it to the next council meeting.
Yeah, does anybody have any objection if that comes to city council? If there is something that needs to be signed, or would you rather that go to the Cal?
No objection.
Okay, nor do I.
So do we want to go ahead and just push it to the
You can.
city council meeting?
Yeah.
And if we don't need it, then I'll have it
Sure.
taken off?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to push that to city council.
Second.
Do we need to vote on that? Roll call.
Misty?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Daniel?
Yes.
Amber?
Yes.
Tim?
Yes,
Larry?
Yes.
Thank you, guys.
you're welcome. Thank you.
Next, we have a discussion to revise city council and committee of the whole meeting formal structure to include opening comments from city council and rename comments from council at the bottom, closing comments from city council. Huh?
So I thought I was thinking about this, and basically what I was proposing was in our structure at our meetings, inserting a section where we have opening comments before we start the meeting, whether that comes after public comments or before public comments. There's a lot of times that I've come to these meetings, and I get caught off guard by the comment section at the bottom, to where, sometimes I regret not saying something at the end. So I've thought of maybe there's a section up at the top where we have an opportunity to get any comments out at the beginning. I'm able to get those comments out freely towards the beginning of the meeting, and then at the end, if there's additional comments, we've got the section at the bottom. It I think would lengthen the meetings a little bit, but it was just a suggestion I thought I'd bring to the council and see if anybody had any feedback on that.
Can you make those comments as a citizen in the citizen comments?
I suppose you could.
Or do you want it more in your official capacity?
It didn't matter. I never really thought of going down to the mic and having a citizen comment. I guess I could do that. But I think it comes more from my position up here that I might want to say something. So
that makes sense.
It might be a little wishy-washy on that regard, but I just thought it'd be an opportunity where if we put some kind of opening comments, kind of like in a legal status, the lawyers have the opening statement and then they have the closing statement at the end, and that's kind of what my thought process was on it. And
you propose that as item number 7 or item number 6? Assuming it was on tonight's agenda, would it be before comments from citizens?
That's kind of what I was bouncing around. The idea is if you guys wanted to move forward with it, where would we put it?
After citizens,
It would-
maybe?
Well,
You could,
I don't love the
but
idea.
then you would respond. Then you might respond in that point, so maybe it goes before then. But again, if y'all.
You got about a 2% chance of me making any opening comments, so you can put it wherever you want to put it.
Well, and would we have it where we made sure we didn't repeat what we said? Like, if you discussed at the beginning, would you already
I
discussed?
don't know why you'd need a
Yeah.
second comment time, you know what I mean, at the beginning, when you've had all meeting to think about thoughts and things. I would lengthen the meeting.
Yeah, I thought of that too. It's fine. You will not hurt my feeling. It was just something I thought I'd bounce off y'all, put in front of y'all, and, mull it over.
I was confused.
It was a rather weirdly worded item at the time. I don't think you worded it.
I don't know how you put that into a sentence. Until Mike said, where would it be? And a place that it could go, and by the way, I need to apologize to our chairman and the citizens. When citizens comment, we are not supposed to engage back and forth. We're not supposed to answer you. I did that and I wasn't supposed to. I'm so sorry, Chairman. I'm sorry, fellow council members. I'm sorry to the two of you as well. But at the beginning, if it were after citizen comments, that might give us an opportunity, in 3 minutes or less or whatever, to be able to answer some of those things as they come up, instead of we have to wait until after a meeting to go approach someone again, it's still not a back and forth, but again, I don't necessarily see the reason for it aside from that, but I'm amenable to it. I just, as of yet, aside from that, I don't necessarily see a reason for it.
I also feel like it would, to Tim's point, and I totally respect you
offense.
wanting to do it.
Yeah.
Creating more dialogue and really adding things to the agenda that aren't really there, and more discussion, and then there's back and forth, and just, I mean.
And it could make things more dramatic and explosive in a way that we wouldn't really want, because we never want more explosive, do we?
Yeah, that's fine. I just thought I'd bring it to y'all. get
I
some
always want to hear
feedback
from you though, Danny.
Yeah.
So,
Well, like I said, sometimes, the number 10 tonight, the comments from city council members, you never know which way Larry and which way the mayor are gonna go. Sometimes I go first, sometimes I go last, and, we're going from one item to the next item, I'm following along in my book and on my computer, and it just, sometimes I don't pre-plan any kind of comments, before then. So coming in with a clear thought or, some kind of train of thought on something, I just feel like maybe some comments from council before we get into the muck of the city business, I'm able to get some of those thoughts out.
If it would make you feel better.
We don't have to do everything on based on my feelings.
No, seriously, if it would make you feel better, I can always have this in a particular
Yeah,
order.
sure, yeah, that might, if we
If
knew
that
which
would-
order it was and we weren't playing Russian roulette of who's going for it next.
Okay, sure.
That might help, but.
Okay.
You can go by ward.
Yeah,
1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 1, 2, 2, 3,
I don't
1.
even know.
3,
I'll
2.
have to look.
I'll give you a list. You can do that, yeah.
Okay, so where we at? No motion, so it's gonna.
No, yeah, just some
this-
feedback.
We discussed and it's gonna die where it's at. Okay.
Thanks.
Next, we have a discussion on the landfill and the air testing. Mr. Burris.
Thank you so much, Chairman. I am not a very smart fellow. I'm pretty good in some really narrow areas in life. And when I look at the landfill items and when we look at air testing and various things, I can recognize this stuff isn't good. It's not good for my family. It's not good for your family. It's not good for your family. It's not good for the city as a whole. But I don't always know how to fix that. And I believe we as a council, the 6 of us, from the very, very beginning, literally the very beginning, have been trying to make things better. But I feel in a lot of ways we may be fighting a losing battle. With that in mind, Mr. Boyer is a very, very smart fellow. He lives in my ward, and often he puts a thought in my head, and every now and then he puts so many thoughts in my head that I just can't keep up. And so I asked him if he would be willing to come up with a proposal on paper, and then if he'd be kind enough to come here and explain it to you, because I know that I can't. And he was kind enough to do so. So here's my idea behind this. It's just a few pages here, but I would like you to hear Mr. Boyer out. I don't think he's going to keep us here all night. And if you like what he has to say and you'd like to do something about it, let's determine what that is. If you want to go to a workshop, if you want to come up with some sort of a resolution or what have you. But I just want you to be open to some of the amazing ideas that he has. And if you would be kind enough to give him your attention over the next several minutes, I'd appreciate that very much. Mr. Boyer, will you please join us?
Okay, well, I guess this is a good way for Tim to get me off his back. Sorry to all of you for that, and good evening, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to share some things that are really bothering me. Bottom line, ADEQ is conducting fraudulent testing right now. Now, one could argue it's not fraudulent, it's incompetent. But I don't buy incompetent because they're not stupid. They know their game. They're experts. They know how to win. They're doing what they need to do to get rid of us. They're testing in a way that is not valid. And they're depending on us not complaining. Now, I don't have a perfect solution for how to complain, but I do know this, and I wasn't going to bring this up, but I mean, I know how bureaucracies work at the state level. I was in government bureaucracy for over 30 years, and I know their games. And I know, this is me, and I would stand right here and tell them, they're lying, and they're pulling a trick on us, and they're nailing the coffin lid shut on the EcoVista matter regarding air quality. And I'll go ahead and read you what I have here so I don't just go on and on. I think it's pretty tight. All right, I am proposing that the city hire a professionally respected scientific firm, perhaps a university, to conduct an in-depth paper review and analysis of ADEQ's seriously faulty air testing protocols and make specific recommendations to ADEQ on how to correct them. I've provided you with a detailed proposal. Following are key flaws in the 2025 study that's going on right now, which render the study scientifically invalid. 1, EcoVista's gas emissions machinery appeared to be down or barely running during the air sampling. No documents, not ADEQ's RFP for testing, not CTEH's proposal for the work, nor the actual contract for work required this simple but essential component. This flaw alone, testing without machinery operating, absolutely invalidates the entire study and just turns it into a complete mockery.
Page 6, Mr. Boyer, page 6.
Well, I'm just reading off my thing.
I understand. Okay, thank you.
I don't know where it is on there.
That's all right.
Okay, number 2. Even had the machinery been running, there was no requirement in any of the paperwork requirements or anything to monitor its level of operation, because you can run the machines and dial them down, or the types or concentration of inputs. What would have been going into the machines? And that determines what goes out. They could just have the motors running with air coming into them. We have no way of knowing just by listening to them. There was no on-site testing at all, and that is in direct defiance of the Arkansas Department of Health's specific 2024 recommendation to do so. So ADEQ has defied the Arkansas Department of Health that gave their report on the 2024 study. 4, there was no testing at Hotspot 2. Again, in complete defiance of ADH's specific recommendation, not only for that, but for special attention to be given to that spot. Not only did they not test it, they moved it 200 yards away and 30 feet up, which is significant in elevation because benzene and acrolein are heavier in air and they settle, and that was a hot spot, and they didn't test it. There was no taking into account citizens' concerns before the testing by meeting with them, contrary to specifications laid out in ADEQ's own RFP. 6, testing occurred during a highly predicted rainy period, obviously drowning out pollutants. Testing could have been delayed, but was not. The above are just some of the serious flaws that we know of, which all just happen to tilt in favor of EcoVista. Which begs the question, what other flaws may there have been, such as how valid was the sample collections themselves, the canisters used, when readings were taken? How did data collection align with the topography or with our ever-changing winds? To what degree were low spots in elevation where acrolein and benzene settle accounted for? To what degree was volatilization accounted for? I would submit that it was not even tested at all, as it wasn't even mentioned in the 2024 ADH report. But volatilization, which I won't get into, could explain why we had unusually high concentrations of benzene and acrolein at the far away 2 and 3 mile points when they said, well, you know, it's out here and we don't know why. Well, it goes out to the air, it settles, and then it evaporates back up. So it can just sit there and come up, and that's why it's there. Instead of trying to say, well, there's some elusive industry in this area that's producing them, but we don't know who they are, but they could be somewhere. Okay, we citizens have a right to know what's in the air. The city's circuit court lawsuit, insofar as I know, does not directly address the air pollution issue. It's regulatory. Even if the city wins, endless appeals could easily outlast the landfill's lifespan, during which time Ecovista's belchings will continue unabated. The citizens' class action lawsuit addresses odors, not air quality. Toxins can be disguised. Consider the relatively tasteless but deadly ethylene glycol in antifreeze. As my proposal calls for a simple paper review with no actual field work, the cost should be minimal. It should have been done immediately following last year's error-riddled ADH report, but it is still not too late. There are still 3 testing phases left to go, and ADEQ needs to have the proposed formal science-based recommendation, the thing that I'm proposing. They need to have it in their hands before the door closes on this $650,000 testing process. Simultaneously, Tontitown can use this report to take other actions, including filing a formal complaint with the EPA. Critically, this will be a science-based complaint, not just a bunch of subjective protestations from our locals, which we know ADEQ dismisses. And also, I attended the PCEC hearing, and one of the biggest problems Tontitown had at that hearing, which obviously was biased against us anyway, and I know it was an affordability issue, but we just didn't have enough science experts there. We had like 1 or maybe 2, and they had like a half a dozen, and they just drowned us out with their talk. So we have to have science on our side, or PCC, ADEQ, EPA, all of them just won't listen to us. Please recognize the power and implications of the upcoming final ADH report, the one that will be concluded after this year. I think we can all safely predict its conclusions. It will become the definitive document upon which all future Ecovista-related governmental air emissions decisions will be based. If Tontitown does not challenge the veracity of the testing now, which is going to end up in that report, then Tontitown's power to do so later will be significantly diminished. The legislature is not about to fund any more studies after this when Tontitown knew or should have known that the testing was faulty, and we know it's faulty, and did not formally object and do so on a scientific basis. ADEQ is a master at its game. Do you seriously believe that they would actually sponsor testing that has even the remotest chance of implicating themselves? Among other things, this would be tantamount to admitting that their decades-long denials were wrong. It's not going to happen. Currently, we are all playing ADEQ's game by chasing after technicalities and odors, while the real problem, poison, is going unaddressed. I urge you to commission a scientific audit, a simple scientific paper audit of ADEQ's protocols right now to determine their validity. Even if the immediate outcome is as humble as forcing testing while the machinery is in operation, it'll still be a win. Truth has a power of its own. If ADEQ's malfeasance or incompetence is exposed now, there is no telling how far it may help us in our long-term and short-term fight. Unless you act now and confront the falsehoods with scientific fact, who will? And that second report, the one being done now, will go in. It'll be based on falsehoods, but the government will go by it. And later on, if we have complaints, they're going to say, look, we've got 2 reports, they're done. What's your problem? Are you going to try to refute those? We're going to go by the scientific report because they call their reports scientific, and they're not scientific. That's it.
Wonderful, thank you. Any questions for Mr. Boyer?
I'll take any and all questions.
So this sounds amazing, but I don't know any scientists, so where do we find these people to do this? I mean, I'm not an expert in this.
Well, Misty, I mean, that is the perfect question, frankly. It would be up to somebody on city staff because they have to have the power of the mayor. It doesn't have to be the mayor, but it can be somebody on city staff that can have really good heart-to-heart talks with what's going on and go into quite a bit of detail. And of course, these firms won't talk to anybody unless, they do have the power of the city behind them. So somebody on staff or, possibly a city council member, could be a city council member that could be using somebody to help them along to find a university or somebody that would have the qualifications to do this. And that is, I agree, the perfect question. It's not something you can just look up in the yellow pages, right? Yeah.
May I ask a question, please?
Yeah.
So you want just a scientific review of the 2024 paper before the final of the other one comes out?
Yeah,
That's
the
what you're
20,
asking for,
exactly,
yes.
the 24, Mike, the 24 papers and what has been done on the 25, because we know there's already faults on the 25. But largely, it would be exactly the 2024 and the ADH report that covered it.
And
so it'd be the protocols of testing and the ADH report, and then what has been done thus far.
Okay, and there is a professor at the U of A, and her name escapes me right now, that has been deposed as an expert in environmental air quality issues. I will try to find out what her name is. I have not been involved in her deposition, but a friend of mine has. So I'll reach out to him and see if he can pull her name out. And that will at least give us a starting point.
It could give us a start. We could start a networking. She might know of somebody, whatever. The key is that they have impeccable academic credentials. That's the key. Look, I'm not a scientist by any means. I can figure this stuff out. It's wrong. It's easy to figure out, but nobody cares about what I have to say, upstairs. I mentioned here, one of the things when all this is done, you can file a complaint with EPA, and EPA, I Googled it for what that's worth, but EPA has done quite a few sanctions and taken actions against state DEQs. So they aren't necessarily locked together. And this is so gross. I mean, they've got machinery operating that the citizens say is the problem, and everybody knows spews out, that's scientifically known. And then they test when the machines aren't operating. And even if they do test when they're operating, we've got a further problem. What's going into those machines? Are they just pumping air into them? Or are they pumping the methane that's coming out of the mountain? Or are they just throwing some class 4 stuff in there? Somebody's got to get in and say, look, this is the way a real study has to be done to get a scientific answer. It's as simple as that. And it's really all paperwork. It's there. They've already documented their goofs. Anyway, that's my pitch.
Thank you. So if council is amenable, especially if it's roughly $20,000, it's not a whole lot of money. And we have to find it and all those sorts of things. But I do believe that you're correct. If we don't do something now, then this thing is over and there's nowhere else to go.
That's the problem.
You bring up great points that my brain would not have noticed. Oh, it's scientific. Okay. You said scientific. Oh, okay. But we get somebody else who says it's scientific and we actually look at the science, I think it matters. So if you guys are amenable, what I'd like to do, and Mr. Latham, if you're amenable, if we can work on some way to bring this in a resolution or something where we can bring this forward, again, if council is so interested, that we can start moving forward. And I'd rather do it sooner rather than later.
Yeah, because you've got 3 more testing cycles to go, and I don't know when the next one is, but what I think is important is for us to be proactive and not just like after the facts next year say, oh, this was all wrong. I think what we need to do now is get the truth out, scientifically verified, whatever, our complaints, present it to ADEQ and say, look, these are the problems with this study. What are you going to do about it? You could change things now. That $650,000 by the legislature is not going to be taken lightly. They're not going to pop that again because they struggled for years over that until we finally got it. And that's kind of like the home run. And we're sort of in the home run 9th inning of the game right now. And if we don't make our play, I think the game's going to be over. On the air, and the air is what it's about. You know, our class action citizens, that's the odors. Okay, fine, we get rid of the odors. That doesn't mean we get rid of the poison. You guys' regulatory deal about the permission and all that is absolutely spot on, but it's going to be appealed, and you know it's going to require basically the plant to be shut down or something, and we all know the reality of that happening. So I guess my simple thing is they're doing something that's terribly, terribly wrong, and we need to fight back just for the truth. There's Superman, truth, justice, and the American way, right? Well, the younger ones aren't smiling because they didn't watch Superman in the 50s, but I don't want to yak away.
Thank you, Mr. Boyer. Any other questions for Mr. Boyer before he steps away? Okay, then thank you, Mr. Boyer. Then let me ask your thoughts, council. Thank you, Misty. Any other thoughts? I'd love to hear them from you or anyone.
What you've said is if we could get somebody, quote unquote, an expert, a scientist or whatever, for a reasonable amount of money, I think the council would probably, as you say, it's a lot of money, it's not a lot of money. So if it's just my feelings, if we could get something, it would be a good thing.
I'm trying to find this name, sorry.
Yeah, and Mr. Boyer's point, even if, you know, she's not willing or can't help us, she may know someone in her world who might want to take that up.
Yes.
So, networking is what he mentioned.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, I'm for it. Yeah. I don't know if we want to hinge it all on one scientist, but I mean, we got to start somewhere, so.
Okay, thank you. Then I'd like to propose that we move forward. I'm fine with Mr. Boyer's help and Mr. Latham's help, sort of running point on that. I need you guys to run point. I'll just be the council member who was willing to stick his name next to it. But if you guys are willing, I'm 100% in. Thanks. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Okay. Well, now we've gotten to comments from council members. Mike.
I'll just dovetail on what was just brought up. I was working today in a city I will not name, attorneys I won't name, but it's interesting that it happened today before the city council meeting. There was an issue between a smaller city and a large industrial operation, and their water filtered into the same sewer system. The city was getting dinged by ADEQ for having too much chlorine in their water, while the manufacturing facility who was dumping into the same sewer system, their chlorine levels were normal or even below what their expected levels should be. It took a few years in order to get to the bottom of the issue, but the issue was the testing that was done. And the city was not using the same testing that the manufacturer was using, and their chlorine levels, though using the very same water, going to the very same pipe or whatever, however it worked, they were getting dinged. They switched the methods, everything came out fine. So I appreciate you bringing the information to us. We'll certainly do what we can to get to that, and that may be the best approach that we have yet. I know that the people in the city are working on trying to get some mitigation done for some of the odors that are coming. I don't know how much they can speak on that, but, and I may be overstepping my bounds by saying something out loud, but you know, we understand, and you know, it's sad that it has to be this way, but just like the road issue, you know, we know where the damage is coming from, but you know, how do we stop it? So anyway, on a little bit lighter note, I appreciate everybody coming out. It's been kind of a long meeting. I will be at the Great Festival working in the kitchen Thursday and Saturday, so I'll be doing my part out there, slogging spaghetti. You may not see me, but I will be working hard. My wife will make sure that on Saturday. Thursday, she's not got any supervision over me, but Saturday she's in control of whatever I do. So I may be slinging trash out the back door. I have no idea, but I'll find out when I get there. Thanks, guys.
Mr. Burris?
Go to the grape festival, eat grape ice cream. Thank you.
Amber?
Oh, man, what a meeting. I do want to thank you, Mr. Boyer, for coming and speaking to us about that. There's some really, really good information. And it does get discouraging. Sometimes you don't, where do you go from here? What do you do? You know, you sit up here and you listen week after week. Mr. Lovett, thank you for always coming. But I feel like I feel lost at times. Like I'm sitting here listening and we want to help, and I don't know what the next step is. I never know what the next step should be. So that sounds like a good next step. So thank you. And yes, looking forward to a great festival. That's it.
Misty?
Thank you everyone for coming out tonight. Great Festival is this week. The museum will be open, special hours will be open until 7, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So if you're swinging through the Great Festival, it is air conditioning inside the museum. So you can stop by and take a visit before you walk across the street to enjoy your ice cream and your spaghetti dinners. I will be in the museum Thursday, and then I'll be over there helping sell the t-shirts Thursday, Friday, and Saturday nights. So stop in, say hi. There is no grapes this year due to the hail. Rinaldi Farms has put out a thing. The hailstorm destroyed so much, as you see with all the roofs being repaired right now, but it also took out the grape harvest this year. So there will not be any grapes for anyone to purchase at the festival this year. And I've only seen one other time when there was almost no grapes because they didn't come to fruition in time, and it's going to be sad, but Mother Nature had other plans for us this year. So I just wanted to put that out there again and relate that they won't be there, but come out, have a good time. The weather hopefully will continue to be nice for us. Thank you.
Daniel?
I just want to thank everybody for coming out. I've seen some old faces that I haven't seen in a minute. I've seen some new faces. It's always great to have, feedback and response from our citizens here in the area. I want to thank even we had our Justice of the Peace representative come in and give us a report on everything that's happening on the county level. Sometimes we're not able to attend those meetings because they kind of conflict with these meetings. So that was nice and refreshing. Also, you can watch them on YouTube and get informed that way too. So, but I appreciate him coming forward and, giving us some kind of interaction. I also want to appreciate everybody here in the city. I'm not going to name drop anybody. I've got some city employees here that I'm thankful for that are in front of me. There's others that are behind the scenes that I don't see all the time. But I'm really appreciative for the body of employees we have here and all the work that they do to help this city run each and every day. So thank y'all.
And pretty much, I do appreciate everybody coming out. Viewpoints, as I said before, whether I agree or disagree, I love hearing them. Gave me a new perspective sometimes. As always, our city staff, amazing. And I will be slopping spaghetti Friday, so. Yeah. So with that being said, all in favor of adjournment, say aye. Aye. We'll have 5-minute recess and then go to our special meeting.
And I just take them up there about a 5 gallon bucket.
Oh, yeah, clean them and, yeah, shell them and drink over.
It's all my grapes. I've got about half an acre. Yeah, I've got a half an acre vineyard, and then I've got about 400 feet of pumpkin blackberries. Those are the sweetest blackberries you can buy on earth. They're the sweetest blackberry on the market right now. They're derived from Professor Clark at the University of Florida. This year was going to be a good year. The grapes, my grapes were just loaded. My wine grapes on high I had a brand new one that I just planted called Marquette, which is a northern variety for wine grapes. And I had a kind of a fun variety I bought called Giant, but basically it was a hybrid Concord seedless, and the dudes get about as big as a muskrat. And they're all self-fertilized. Yeah, they're all self-fertilized. None of them cross-pollinate. So anyway, I've been getting varieties that will take them flying and make them nice and good varieties now. That hail is snot out of them, and a lot of them I'm having to retrain right up the bamboo shoots, right down the wire and everything. It's disheartening. I mean, when that hail was hitting that one side, it was done. Yeah, I mean, my vines in the vineyard were just nothing but vines, no leaves, no nothing. Same thing with my blackberries. They were just beautiful. And I was just so excited. You can. And I was like, so changed. My neighbor Les Dozier, they've got a U-pick right there on Washington Boulevard. They've got a U-pick farm. They grow black.
Like to call the August 4th City Council meeting to order, please. Roll call.
Mike,
Here.
Tim,
Here.
Larry,
Here.
Amber,
Here.
Daniel,
Here.
Misty.
Here.
Now will be approval of the agenda with items A and E no longer on the agenda, so I
make a motion to approve with those changes.
I'll second that.
roll call.
Tim,
Yes.
Amber,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Misty,
Yes.
Daniel,
Yes.
Larry.
Yes. Next, I seek approval to proclaim August 11th as 811 Day.
I make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Hang on.
Sorry.
Amber,
Yes.
Daniel,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Larry,
Yes.
Misty.
Yes.
Motion approves.
Next, I seek an approval to add and remove police vehicles.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
This is for both.
Roll call.
Daniel,
Yes.
Misty,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Larry,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Amber.
Yes.
Motion approves.
Next, I seek an approval to add a fire vehicle.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second that.
Who is
Either
that?
one's fine.
Tim can
Second.
second.
I
Tim
think it was
second.
Amber.
Okay.
That's for me. Roll call.
Misty,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Daniel,
Yes.
Amber,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Larry.
Yes.
Motion approves.
All in favor of adjournment, say aye.
Aye.
No.
You too.